So I will start now. I think we have people coming in now. So thank you, Andre, and thank you, Hemant, for your time today. I hope you can hear me clearly. Andre, can you hear me clearly? Yep. No, thank you very much, Andre and Hemant, for your time today. I'm very excited to hear from you about SAP IRPA, how it's changing the landscape in the market. Just to introduce Andre and Hemant, they will be doing a detailed introduction when they start this session. Uh, this is a small agenda for this particular webinar. We will be introducing both the participants, both the speakers for this webinar. Then Andre will be covering on SAP process automation with SAP, how they are going in this journey, what is the roadmap, what's the plan going forward, and how they can scale up their automation journey using SAP. Then Hemant will be covering on the use cases of SAP IRPA and also will do the demonstration. Please feel free to send your questions in the chat window, and we'll address them in the end of the webinar. We'll also have some polls across during the webinar where you can, we'll be asking you some questions and you can vote on them. So first of all, Andre, who is joining us from SAP, he is leading SAP go-to-market for IRPA on the global basis. He is a solution advisor and designer for SAP IRPA. He has been with SAP for last 17 years in the platform and technology area, and he is a very passionate storyteller and a sneaker collector. I will discuss that sneaker stuff with Andre later on, but I'm very excited to hear about SAP from him. Then we also have Hemant. Hemant is a leader with passionate and proven success in the new ventures. He's leading go-to-market for SAP IRPA for APJ, including Greater China. And he has got 16 years of experience, and he co-founded a company which was funded by SAP.io. So I will not take much of your time and will start the webinar. And as we have people coming in, let's do some more intro for the next slide. And myself, I'm Mohit. I'm founder and chairman of Mindfields. We are one of the first one to implement RPA 7 years back. We were the first one to implement UiPath Automation Anywhere and Works in Australia. And we are very, very excited to partner with SAP on implementing SAP at our client infrastructure and environment. 95% of our clients do have SAP ERP or CRM or HR or procurement SCM. So we are looking forward to hear more from Andre and Hemant on how SAP will change the world. Next slide, Shantanu. About Mindfields, we are, as I told you, we are the first one to implement RPA 7 years back in Australia, and we have been recognized by Gartner, IDC, HFS, Deloitte in various capacity. Our life cycle is from the consult to operate and support. We have various marquee clients across the globe, mostly in Australia also, but also in Europe and US. We have also automated our own processes. We have offering like MindEasy, CODXE, CFRDXE to help our client to fast track their automation journey. The objective of this webinar is to educate and make aware our clients, prospects, and most importantly, the community on what's happening in the RPA world. In the past, we had automations which were based on screen scraping, macros, or you can say macros on steroids. And over the last 7 years, those tools have improved. They have got more offerings, more components as add-ons to fast track the client's journey in the automation like OCR, AI engines, and also scanning, unstructured scanning components. We're very excited to hear from Hemant and Andre on how the SAP is changing that scenario. by moving away from UI-based automation to application/ERP-based automation. For example, Salesforce is acquiring companies left, right, and center, and so are the other companies, and which is impacting the UI of the screens which they have got. So any automation done on them has to be now reworked or modified to meet the requirement of the client in terms of the process they have built on those processes or screens. I think the main parameters on which any automation has to be judged is on their functionality, their features, their pricing, and most importantly, their scalability and how they integrate with other applications. So I now hand over to Andre to take it forward and in this session, enlighten us about SAP IRPA's capabilities.
Perfect. Mohit, thank you very much for your introduction, also for having invited us to this joint presentation to your customer and community base. Let me send a warm welcome and a good morning from sunny Berlin. It's a pleasure to be here. As Mohit introduced me, my name is Andre Borchardt. I'm globally leading the IRPA solution management. So I and my team, including him, are engaging on a daily basis with customers, with partners, with our community to assure the successful market introduction of our process automation portfolio. And we also help customers and partners to really go into the adoption and the realization of the value. And in this capability, I'm happy to share today how SAP is actually approaching the overall topic of process automation. I would love you to understand what is our strategy, what is our investment, what is our tooling, and how and where we can differentiate when it comes to process automation, to hyper automation, to citizen automation, and how you can, with SAP automation, also utilize your investments that you have made in SAP technology already until today. I believe it is important to understand that SAP has a strong and rich robotic process automation tooling. The name of that tool is SAP Intelligent RPA. RPA standing for Robotic Process Automation. That is our offering to automate repetitive, tedious end-user tasks that are part of an end-to-end process. But I believe in order to understand SAP's differentiation and value proposition, you have to understand that, first of all, this Intelligent RPA tool is a strategic component of a wider process automation portfolio. And this process automation portfolio really enables business process improvements as part of our business process intelligence strategy. You might have heard announcements at the beginning of the year, but we really want to approach customers and support them into an end-to-end spectrum to analyze processes, design and simulate, improving them, rolling them out, and really governing and monitoring them. The process automation portfolio is an essential part of SAP's business technology platform, which is the foundation of SAP's applications, of SAP's cloud offerings, and our business networks. And in that business technology platform, we do create a citizen automation layer, meaning we're combining all of our capabilities in robotic process automation, in a very complete suite of workflow management capabilities, artificial intelligent business services, conversational AI, but also integration capabilities. And with this, we have a suite of technology capabilities that we can expose and really help you to understand your current processes, potential shortcomings, and find capabilities to improve them and automate them. And you for sure can imagine that this process automation portfolio is closely integrated in the whole SAP application landscape, from our core applications like S4 to ECC to Ariba to our analytics solutions. So you can really make sure if you automate SAP, you can do it best with our capabilities. Taking one look deeper in what can we actually do, you have to understand what's the methodology behind our business process intelligence. We would like to help you to really go from insights to action. And that for us means we help you with capabilities around user behavior and process mining to really identify the shortcomings. We help you to design and simulate business process and business process landscapes. and also help you to improve potential shortcomings, roll it out, govern, and monitor it. How do we do that? First of all, as I mentioned, we seamlessly integrate different process management components from workflow management, RPA, conversational AI. And what is crucial for SAP is we want to democratize the access to those tools and capabilities to, in the end stadium, everyone, so to say, because we want to make our tools as low code or no code as possible to really approach the so-called citizen developers, the business users, the people who are experts on the individual businesses and processes, but potentially do not have coding skills. So making that approach happen is absolutely crucial, and also have it integrated into the app development. You might have heard about our acquisition with AppGyver as a low-code application development platform. And there we really take a different approach. And as you can imagine, SAP knows SAP's best. We want to provide our customers with end-to-end enabled pre-packaged content to have a fast start around bots, live process packages, or BTP services. And with this, we can really assure you have a fast and cost-effective implementation, and really using also the process capabilities to enable what we call the intelligent enterprise. Knowing that this is a very rich set of solutions, you can imagine there's also a rich roadmap out there. I've just brought you a very high-level glimpse of what you can expect. The importance to understand here is that our roadmap follows a theme that is called simple, scale, and smart. And that is for a reason, because we want to simplify our solutions as much as we can. For example, with the business user-ready process recorder, supporting what we call record on UI, but replay on API. We have a demo later with him on showcasing this. We keep enriching our content on a frequent basis. More than 200 pre-built high-quality bots are available for you to use for free. And in order, when we make it simple, we have more people using it, so we're scaling into the organization. We also allow scale via making sure we have enterprise-grade application management in place. We're utilizing partner content, and by having the scale in use, we learn a lot about how people use it and can use that information to make it smart again. So there is already a rich set of capabilities, but our roadmap has a lot of great things included going forward. For example, we're going to use a shared data semantic model to really have an all-inclusive hyperautomation suite that will also lower the TCO if you use across different applications. We are planning to release more and more industry best practices bot content that also goes across LOBs, and really make sure that we have a fully automated bot generation from user behavior and task mining. You might have heard our recent event, Sapphire, that a tool called SAP Process Insights have been announced. That is the user behavior mining that automatically can recommend a bot or a bot design out of the user behavior mining. So that is truly us driving simplification, scale, and do it in a smart way.
Andre, I think I just want to understand from the roadmap perspective, you just acquired Signavio, which enhances your process mining capability. Still, I think the way in last 24 months, from the first acquisition of the company in France to now acquiring Signavio, what are the plans to enhance your skill set or offering in AI and analytics?
First of all, I believe SAP has a great platform that has AI capabilities and also analytical capabilities. You might know that with SAP Analytics Cloud, we have a huge and wide array of analytical capabilities on the same platform, business technology. We have our HANA Cloud offering, Data Warehouse Cloud, all on the same platform. And we have a rich set of AI business services, machine learning capabilities that SAP is wrapping into a business context. For example, we have document extraction capabilities as an AI service that we can leverage in any of our process automation capabilities. So from that perspective, I believe in the AI space and analytics space, we have great capabilities ourselves, but you can for sure imagine that SAP constantly also revisits our ability, and if an acquisition makes sense, I'm sure we do it, but there's nothing which I can disclose now.
Sure. Thanks, Andre. And Andre, I think I just also want to rain check on the audience from which verticals they are coming from. So can we have the first poll? Andre, in the process of having a poll in the background, what is SAP, in which vertical you're finding the most? So audience, can I just request you to vote for this particular poll? So we can accordingly customize our presentation accordingly of which department, which domain you come from. So Andre, like from which vertical and horizontal you are seeing the most demand for SAP IRP?
Yeah, I believe first of all, it's fair to say that we now see this with every customer, right? It doesn't matter if you're a small and medium business, if you're a mid-sized business, or if you're a large enterprise account. We also see there is no limitation in industry, right? So I believe out of the 28 industries that SAP is serving, we have an RPA customer in all of them, right? And for sure, you can imagine that there is certain line of businesses that are more prone to task automation. For sure, finance is one of the most relevant verticals here or line of businesses that we see, but also more and more on the IT side, data management tasks, master data management tasks to maintain with a bot we see, but more and more we're going into HR, we're going into procurement, and even in the innovation side, there are cases where we have been using Intelligent RPA for IoT scenarios. So I believe automation is now being in every industry, seen in every type and size of customers, and in every line of businesses. And also we're starting to see automations across different line of businesses, processes, and hopefully later on we have a couple of examples to prove that.
Sure, thanks, Andre. Can we have the poll result? So I think, so Andre, if you can look at the screen, the result of the poll, the most come from finance and IT. Of course, automation, we have inherent audience from that side. As you know, the automation is getting more and more mature. The companies are having an automation department also. So it's good to see that we have majority of participants from the automation department or automation domain. It will be very exciting to also look at how both can coexist, SAP IRPA tool and their incumbent RPA tool. How can they both coexist?
Absolutely.
So, and over to your comments on that, and
Yeah, I believe the poll result shows that companies are investing more and more in automation, and that you have specific automation departments taking care of it, and potentially also having center of excellences in houses that manage automation tools and business process management capabilities. And that is also a sign, for example, that we're maturing, that customers are investing in this. And we also do see customers that have multiple automation tools in place, right? So customers are even sometimes going with the decision to have a dual strategy because they see advantages and disadvantages or potential things they can leverage. But I believe now let's look into what should be a reason or what can be a reason for you guys to also maybe make SAP Intelligent RPA of your automation tool set. Let me move to the next slide. I can't move the slides. Santanu, can I have? Okay, perfect. So how can SAP Intelligent RPA help you to scale and maybe even disrupt your hyper-automation journey? I believe for that, it's fair if we can go maybe one step back and understand a little bit the situations that you as a company are operating in, and understand 3 different drivers. Okay, they're coming up. Sorry, there's a little delay. And that means we see that US companies are operating in very volatile markets, right? I mean, the Corona pandemic was just one example, trade wars, the Brexit, these things are impacting your business, your financials, and your supply chains. We see a scarcity of IT experts, and we see an increasing complexity of IT business landscapes. So what we need to do and help you with this, we need to help you finding a smart way to end-to-end tackle the problem, which I was just explaining, by having a rich set of business process automation and improvement capabilities. We need to make it simple to overcome the hurdle to be bound to IT expertise only. I'm not saying that we're now fully shifting only to the business users. It is a developer continuum, so both needs to be enabled to be able to do it in a secure and governed way. And we need to make sure that we help customers to really scale automation of any core business application, right? Be it in the cloud, be it on-premise, be it hybrid. And I believe at SAP, since 1972, business process automation and optimization is in our DNA. So SAP can for surely take a stand here and say, we understand your business processes from line of business and industry, and we also can help you with providing capabilities that help you to address these. But what is better than me talking about it than showing you a customer example? Sorry, we flipped a little bit too quick because I was so excited jumping to the customer stories. We have a customer also in your region. Mohit, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask from the last slide is, can you please rank the top 3 steps to scale up the automation? So as we have seen that we have majority of people coming from automation background, so everybody is struggling to scale up. Some have scaled up. And what has been your experience or your advice to guide them on the 3 steps or 3 top steps that you should take to scale up?
Yeah, I believe one thing is we have to smartly combine different technologies to break down silos and islands of, let's say, solutions. You shouldn't have an RPA tool here and a business process management over here and a little bit of AI here. Unify this to enrich the ability to approach it on a broader scale. That's one thing. Second thing is you have to make it as simple as possible. We largely invested in the progression of our tooling to make it as low code or no code as possible. Drag and drop UIs that really allow to easily put together your automation. And the last thing, I believe, content is key. We have similar problems across similar customer cases. If we package this into content for a fast start, that is the differentiation we're seeing at SAP. So end-to-end, the content picture and make it simpler for the users. Then we can drive a scale in automation.
So Andre, I would also now initiate a second poll here, in which I would like to understand from the participants that what they are doing in RPA beyond simple RPA, beyond screen scraping, beyond doing macros automation, what they are doing in OCR, AI Fabric, or process mining space. So participants, can you please vote for this poll? So Andre, as per your experience, what should be the maturity of the client to adopt to the technologies other than RPA like OCR or process mining?
Yeah, I believe, for example, process mining is an absolutely must. It gets more and more important. We do have customers that know their issues and know where to go to automate it, but process mining really helps them to understand where in their process landscapes are shortcoming. Process mining, absolutely. OCR, for me, is a capability that also is needed more and more, especially when it comes to I mean, you usually always have a business application and there's some Outlook or Office involved, and then there's some some type of document where optical character recognition of the certain document is absolutely crucial. But we're also seeing the infusion of AI to make automation more intelligent as crucial, and also to have a user interface to business users and to users overall. Conversational AI becomes key, and for sure integration technologies. So you picked 2 very important ones, and I just added a few more that I also see in many of our customer cases.
Great. So can I see the poll results? So I think looking at the maturity of RPA industry and the companies going beyond screen scraping or basic use of RPA tool, I think it is also reflected by the other companies launching new component on top of their RPA basic offering. So I think that's a good outcome. Any comment from your side, Andre and Hemant, on this outcome?
I believe it confirms our strategy and our view, and that your customers already have explored these technologies. And I believe something to maybe reflect on it, I wanted to share it before. Zuellig Pharma is one of our key customers, actually also out of your region, the APJ region, based out of Singapore, a healthcare provider with a very interesting case, I would say. Yes, they have automated more than 800 back orders. Yes, they have automatically processed more than 3,000 PDFs and have done many individual use cases to automate. But I believe it's important to understand the story behind this. When the pandemic kicked off, they saw a huge increase in orders coming in multiple ways, via the website, via email, via even WhatsApp groups, right? And since they're a healthcare provider of critical healthcare solutions and infrastructure, they needed to cope up with this. And they couldn't. So they had to deploy a fast return on invest solution to help them with the automations. And they handled with this a 30 times increase of sales orders coming in, and still having reduced their FTE savings by more than 20 days. And they were able to deploy this very quickly, and really for me then drove a transformation, right, to a zero-touch order process. There was no human intervention needed to handle incoming orders. And the important part is to understand that they are not just doing this with our RPA tool only. Yes, it's a crucial part, but they also use it conversational AI chatbots for the interaction with the business users, the AI services, and the integration suite. So here you really see the SAP process automation portfolio to be used to address a very, very challenging situation in the pandemic, and that really helped them to survive the amount of incoming orders, but more importantly, to be able to serve their customers with critical healthcare solutions and providers. And I believe Zuellig Pharma is just one example out of many. For the sake of time, I will not go through all of the customer references we had. I can just share you, since we are in the RPA market, we have tripled our customer base last year. We plan to triple it this year again. We see huge adoption in nearly every industry. And if I manage to get to the next slide, you see a couple of our reference customers and logos, and you see this is across the globe, from small companies to large companies with efficiency gains, but also digital transformation. Our RPA tool in many cases is used as a digital assistant or digital worker, so really also help customers to transform their digital transformation journey. And even SAP ourselves, we use it in finance. We're consolidating or we're doing our financial reconciliation on a monthly and a quarterly basis with our own technology. We use it in IT and HR. But also we have customers like Canton Zurich, where we are doing it in a mainframe context, right? So from that perspective, we see huge adoption in different industries for efficiency gains and savings, but also to truly drive transformations. And when we hand out these slides to you, you can read all the stories in detail. But we had huge success. We want to continue on that. And maybe one day, some of you might be joining us on this journey and also become an SAP reference customer for Intelligent RPA or the wider process automation portfolio. If there are not enough reasons yet, let me give you a few more. Mohit, we have been talking about how you can optimize your return on investment on the SAP spend. Just to visualize what I was explaining, current business process management automation initiatives look like this. So you have a long life cycle before you go from plan to deploy. Why? Because it's very IT driven mostly only. You have fragmented solutions that are not connected. It is mostly developer oriented. It's not yet very intelligent or uses a lot of AI capabilities. So before you deploy, you have spent a lot of time. How can we now, especially in hyperautomation, shorten the time to value and provide the next level of process improvement? Again, we're giving access to also people with no code and low code capabilities, so they can work jointly with IT to find solutions, seamlessly integrate these islands of business process automation management capabilities, activate it with prepackaged content, make it intelligent, so really that a deployment can be fast and cost effective. And I have been talking about content now very often. Let me briefly share with you what you see here is SAP best practice content free of charge. We have more than 200 pre-built bots for ECC, for S4HANA, for SuccessFactors, for Ariba that you can search by task, by line of business processes, deploy it, use it, it's for free. Important message, we're also opening up our store for partner content. So Mohit, there is a huge opportunity for you to also start bringing your content into here and drive an end-to-end value proposition. We're not stopping at the bots. We have live process packages for our workflow management solution, because it's not just about task management. You have to go cross application, and you can use the combination of workflow management and AI business services. And you can imagine that SAP knows SAP best, and this is the way you can leverage your spend that you might have invested over the last couple of years.
So yeah. Andre, just come to the pricing. Can you clarify that SAP IRPA tool is beyond SAP also?
That is absolutely true. You can imagine, being SAP, that we in the first step develop our tool to run perfectly with our applications, but we do also have the ability to automate non-SAP applications. We keep investing more in that space. So we're not just here to automate SAP only, we also automate non-SAP. Maybe Hemant, you can touch on this later a little bit as well. Yeah. I also want to clear a little bit with maybe a perception that is in the market that SAP is expensive. That certainly is not true when it comes to our process automation portfolio. We have a very simple, competitive, and flexible pricing. I'm not reading the numbers to you, but we're following market standards here of licensing concurrent sessions for attended, right? So user-based overseen scenarios or unattended scenarios. We have a very competitive pricing out there. And besides the attended and unattended, everything else, access to other cloud studios, control room, developer license, is included. We're cloud-based, no dedicated infrastructure. Again, our content comes for free. And you also have to know that if you use an SAP RPA tool to automate SAP, then there's no indirect license costs, which you would have if you do it with a third-party tool. And it comes in a subscription model, in an enterprise agreement if you leverage the whole platform, or in a pure pay-go model. You can have it via partners direct in the store. You have a 12-month trial license, so there is a lot of commercial flexibility that can help you driving TCO. Before I hand over to Hemant, that will go into the use cases and also into a product demo. So what can be 5 reasons for you to choose SAP Process Automation to optimize your return on investment? We can really scale digital process automation across any heterogeneous IT landscape, right? So best-in-class capabilities for SAP, but also beyond. We provide you the content. We enable this simple collaboration across the different tools by making it low-code, no-code to approach a wider user community. And we make it data-driven and provide you with smart insights with our process intelligence capabilities to really understand where do we mine the problem, how can we optimize, how we simulate, automate, and manage it. And as this is part of the business technology platform, we have this foundation that you can leverage other capabilities like workflows, AI services, chatbots to really enrich your automation. And as you could see, there's a quick return on investment coming from the easy to implement capabilities, from the commercial model, and also from the content that is ready for you to go. I hope I could stay in time, and if everything goes well, I would like to hand over to Hemant to bring some of these things to life in sharing particular use cases and also a demo. Any questions, Mohit, from your side?
No, thanks, Andre. I think we are on time, and we'll have some questions which we have got from the audience. We'll ask in the end. Thanks for your insights, Andre. Over to you, Hemant.
Thank you very much. Just give me a moment.
So,
yeah, I think we did talk about the product capability and all, and let us look at what SAP Intelligent RPA as a product consists of, and what are the capabilities, different capabilities available in the product. So if you look at the SAP Intelligent RPA, it's a hybrid solution. So that gives you a best of both worlds. In terms of scalability, you need not worry about the infrastructure. Today you may have one bot, tomorrow you may have 5 bots, and maybe day after you have 100 bots. Like in case of Zulik Pharma, they are running hundreds of bots on the cloud. But at the same time, the execution of the bot happens within your IT landscape. What does that mean? It gives you the complete flexibility in terms of security, that all the data, all the execution remains within your firewall. So that the execution engine is happening with a desktop agent, which executes on your laptop, desktop, virtual machine, or even virtualized environment like Citrix or RDP. And cloud orchestration, which is the cloud factory, is on the cloud, where you can completely orchestrate. You can create different environments like dev, prod, QA, and orchestrate across the different landscape, the bots. At the same time, you can have the complete analytics and monitoring. You get the complete access of audit logs. You want to monitor what's the performance of the bots, whether it's working fine. You would like to monitor business activity. So sometimes it's important to know that which process is taking how much time, and is there any failure, is this process successfully. So you get that business activity data as well on the cloud if you would like to access it. In addition, from the cloud aspect, it gives you a cloud studio, which is for the design time. It's completely built on low code, no code framework. So citizen developers and the professional developers alike can create the automation at scale. So that's the complete capability available with SAP Intelligent RPA. From the automation aspect, and when we look at automating SAP or non-SAP applications alike, you can use SAP Intelligent RPA confidently. We have native connectors towards the SAP apps, and which makes us best in class for scalability with SAP applications. So I'll give you an example, like one of the largest electronics company in the world, based out of Korea, and they are into consumer durable goods and mobile phones, etc. This company is, of course, started their automation journey little back 4 or 5 years ago, but in recent past they started facing a challenge, which I think Mohit described at the initial stages, that the screen changes, the application lookout or skin changes, or the user interface changes. They were facing this problem with other tool, RPA tool, while the consistency is not there or the scalability is not there. Every now and then the bot will break. What they did, they started utilizing SAP Intelligent RPA along with these SAP apps. And due to these native connectors, which connect with the SAP applications at a little lower level, or I'll call it at the DOM structure level, where that element, you need not worry about the element on the screens while automating. So that's the differentiator which we bring with SAP Intelligent RPA. You need not worry about the screens around the SAP applications, and you can confidently go and scale it to a level which is enterprise grade capability which you need. At the same time, we have connectors available for automating non-SAP applications. So we do have web connector, we do have HLL API connector for the mainframe kind of legacy applications alike. So yes, a complete package to automate both SAP and non-SAP applications with the best-in-class capability for SAP applications.
So,
with this, let me, Mohit.
So, Hemant, I think just sorry to intervene. You just want to understand from the audience with the poll that what type of SAP environments they have in their portfolio. It will help us to also understand what native APIs or connectors you have for them. So over to the audience for the poll number 4. So what does your organization have? SAP Finance, CRM, Ariba, or you don't have any SAP environment? So Hemant, since this voting is happening, I would like to also understand from you that what are the advantages of process re-engineering and BPM in SAP IRP environment?
Yeah, I think it's a very valid question. So when a lot of customers, if we look at when they move or upgrade to the different applications, like say for example they are moving from ECC to the advanced ERP system S4HANA, right? In such cases, when they utilize the BPM capability and the BPI capability specifically to get the insight, end-to-end insight on their processes, specifically the core business processes, whether it's finance, procurement, supply chain, they get that insight that where and what kind of benefits they will get when they automate. So essentially, where to do automation, what kind of benefit they will get, they can simulate. On top of it, once they simulate and they automate, say, certain processes using SAP Intelligent RPA, like for example, order to cash, they completely automate order to cash process. In that scenario, once they automate, they can relate it back. So because there is a monitoring capability with the BPM or the BPI capability from SAP process automation portfolio perspective, they can again revisit and monitor. So it's a complete cycle. They can monitor, get the insight, automate, again monitor whether the performance is up to the mark, and completely keep their business processes agile, which is the requirement of today's, right? For any CFO, any CPO, or any CXO, one of the key capability which they seek from the automation is that how flexible and agile the automation is, right? Can it scale? Can it be changed quickly as per the dynamics of the business environment? And this is what, with the BPI capability plus RPA coming together, provides to the customer.
So Hemant, we have also seen the poll results on the screen, which is in sync with the participants' background, more from the finance, so 50% there. But there is also a big chunk from no SAP. So can you just expand more on the non-SAP environment? What type of integrators, APIs you have, SAP has, and what is the plan going forward?
Yeah, so absolutely. I think those are very valid question, and we see that yes, there is mixed, heterogeneous landscape, and that's why when you look a little deeper into the SDKs available into the SAP Intelligent RPA product or the capabilities, we will find that we do have connectors for all the web applications. So even if you're utilizing latest web-based applications, the web connector will help there. Similarly, we do have, as I mentioned, some of the customers still on the legacy applications. So we do have connectors for Java-based, .NET-based legacy applications which are there. So we cover the entire spectrum of non-SAP landscape as well, plus being part of platform as a service. So RPA, SAP Intelligent RPA is part of the business technology platform. It's completely open. You can write Python script, you can call different AI/ML services, and complete flexibility is there if you want to call different other APIs directly from your automation script. It's possible. Right? So that complete flexibility as part of the platform as a service is available with SAP Intelligent RPA, and yeah, many customers are leveraging it. And let me, while we are talking, let me give you one example around a customer which is utilizing in a LOB application or specifically in the banking sector for customer onboarding. Yeah, so as while we were discussing, yes, of course, SAP Intelligent RPA across line of businesses, whether it's finance, whether it's HR, whether it's procurement or order to cash or lead to cash, your complete CX portfolio you can automate. Let me give an example around the Hello Bank. Now, Hello Bank is part of the BNP Paribas, the largest bank of France. They automated complete customer onboarding process, and this is an online bank. And now in this customer landscape, there is no SAP component, right? Most of the component are non-SAP. So there is a web application, there is a background KYC checks which happen on the government website, which happen on the other credit agencies, completely non-SAP process getting automated using SAP Intelligent RPA. So a great success story around how customers can automate the non-SAP processes as well with using the SAP Intelligent RPA. And I think Andre touched upon the industry capability. As a process automation company, so SAP primarily is knowing the domain and has that knowledge around core industry processes as well. So if we look at, like, say, for example, mining, you can have processes in the back office, you can have in hybrid or front office processes as well. So all these processes which are industry specific can be automated using the SAP Intelligent RPA, right? And which can be a mixture of both SAP and non-SAP. So let's take an example like mining company right now, and they have to go and report their productions or their revenue or the numbers into the government website. Like for example, OSR. In Australia, they have to file the OSR online. Now these capability where they have to do it regularly, a standard report has to be prepared and updated, which is linked with their maybe core ERP system and coming the report from there, but going into a non-SAP system on a website or a web portal. So this is where they can automate, say, using SAP Intelligent RPA core business processes to mining industry as a specific. So yes, SAP can be utilized across LOBs, across different industries, particularly specific industries. And we do have many such examples, like a life sciences company automating their laboratory information management system. So this is, industry specific processes as well can be automated. Let me take some examples, as a lot of customers we see are also moving from legacy system to the S4HANA, the advanced ERP system. And here as well, so while we talked about LOB or industry specific use cases, there is a possibility to utilize the capability in different manners. So for example, one of the Japanese customer, they are into the manufacturing and had to move a lot of PLM, product lifecycle management related, asset related data, like 3D images, etc. And they want to associate it line item by line item into the system. They utilized the SAP Intelligent RPA. And we had another customer who had to do a lot of, I think more than 100 reports are there in the finance. Once they migrated, they wanted to validate. And that's where they utilized the SAP Intelligent RPA for the migration, post-migration to validate those reports. So with this, I would quickly like to jump on a first demo, which is around the hyperautomation, and I think Andre put it very well, the capability around this. So I'll request to go through this demo video. Shantanu, can we play this video, please? Thank you.
Can you, Shantanu, can you also maximize the screen? So Andre and Hemant, this video is loading. So in the meantime, once we complete our demo, can we also understand from you the lessons you have learned over various SAP IRPA engagements, where it is more successful, where the clients need to be more cautious, what steps they need to take Thanks, Shantanu, for displaying the demo. Can we have poll number 4? So in this, I think the audience, I would like to understand from you that, what Andre in the past described his views about both the conventional or incumbent RPA tool can coexist with SAP IRPA tool. What are your views? And do you think you will have multiple tools in the future and the multiple tools can coexist? Please please vote for this poll. It's on your screen. So Andre and Hemant, I just want to understand from you, what has been your experience in implementing SAP IRPA tool, and what you will advise the audience, the steps to be taken or lessons you have learned to succeed then in implementing this tool in SAP environment and non-SAP environment?
Maybe I start. Mohit, first of all, I absolutely see the move and intention to a strategy of having multiple tools. First of all, the opportunity to automate and improve business processes is so multifold in every company that there's room and space for different technologies. Out of our engagements, we have made the experience that even customers who had already have investments in UiPath and Automation Anywhere, in Blue Prism, you name them, have still decided to use Intelligent RPA on top, specifically for their SAP automation, because they saw a differentiating additional benefit. So a dual strategy is possible, and we see this also in large customers that in particular go a dual strategy, to go one vendor in that way, one vendor in the other way. And also, I mean, look at yourself and your valuable partner in the RPA space for many, many years. You're also seeing now that SAP has picked up the game, has invested a lot here, and is truly an option for customers. So that is a justification. And Hemant, I'll let you complete on the projects. But what we see in projects is, what is crucial is, it is the collaboration between IT and business understanding the problem, IT making it happen. So this convergence and low code, no code is absolutely crucial. Content is key, and it's actually implementation partners like yourself that are intrinsic to the customer and know the processes from business and IT side and can really make things happen. So this is my view. Hemant, not sure how you can complete this potentially as well.
Yeah, I think I just like to add one point is essentially also, while you are considering about any project, whether it's your core business processes, SAP or non-SAP, also look at the domain knowledge which you will require as part of the implementation. So because it's very important, many times we have seen, and like for example, one of oil and gas customer in India, where they implemented a process earlier with a partner where they didn't had a tool knowledge around the SAP, and when we took over the same process using SAP Intelligent RPA with a partner of SAP Intelligent RPA, they brought that SAP knowledge, they brought that domain knowledge, which made it quicker, faster, and scalable. So I think it's important to look at those core processes and also have the domain know-how around the core business processes is important.
Andre, I also want to understand some lessons learned, like if a client want to start a journey in SAP IRPA, they should look at some process already automated and you already have on your pre-built pod store and take it from there, or do some trainings. So I think we have those links in the end, which we'll share with everyone about downloading the free version, trial version, and also training on the SAP. Do you have the steps which they should take post the training and downloading the trial version for the clients, for the people who have got SAP already and people who don't have SAP?
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity is multifold. SAP itself is offering a service and also tools to do process mining and user behavior mining, in case you want to mine your environment and understand the opportunities. You can directly engage with SAP or also with valued partners like Mindfields that help you identify potential improvement areas. And for sure, you can go down the best practice route and see what is actually in our bot store for you free to use and see how this maps your current process landscape.
So we have one, Hemant, from your side, we have 1 minute left. So anything you would like to ask? And can we also guide the audience on how to download the version, the free trial version?
Yeah, sure. I think we will just move to the, can we move to the slides? I think next one, please. Yeah, I think we do have the complete offering available. So I will encourage everyone to look at it. We do have a free trial to start the game. You can also utilize the, as part of the trial, you can utilize the pre-built bot, which you can quickly try in your SAP landscape as well, which are S4HANA, ECC, etc. And you can also join the online learning. So there is a free learning course available both from business personas, where we have the understanding around the automation in the SAP landscape, and also for the technical consultants to understand that how they can utilize the SAP Intelligent RPA for building the capability within their IT, heterogeneous IT landscape, SAP, non-SAP, using the tool. So it's very citizen developer friendly online course available, which can be accessed by anyone.
So Andre and Hemant, I've got one question from the audience. I think a very quick question. I'm interested to learn which version of SAP these capabilities are available within, and also whether the application needs to be on the cloud or on-prem.
I think I'll take this up. So SAP Intelligent RPA works with both. When we are looking at SAP landscape, on-premise or cloud, it works seamlessly. There is no, I'll say, the dependency on the version of the SAP applications, right? So it's an agnostic tool which works with SAP and non-SAP applications alike. So there is no dependency on the version.
Sure. Again, I would like to thank you, Hemant, for your reply. I would like to thank everybody to participate in this particular webinar. We'll be sharing the slides to every participant who have joined today, and who were not able to join for any reason, time zone issues. And any questions you have, please feel free to reach out to Andre and Hemant. You can search them on the LinkedIn, and we will share their email IDs also when we share the deck. So again, I would like to thank Hemant and Andre for your time. Really appreciate. I know you guys have worked very hard to make this presentation, this content. I wish you all the best in your journey to educate the community on SAP IRPA tool. And hopefully we'll have one more session at later stage when you have additional components which might and which will expedite our clients and our community's journey in the automation space. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Andre, and thank you, Hemant. Thank you, Shantanu, for organizing these slides.
Thank you. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mohit. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.